Hey everybody, it's James Harlan here with Workforce Development here at Richmond Community Services. I'm here with episode 2 of Life of a DSP. I'm here with Ray Volksani. Ray, how are you? Nice
I'm
to
good.
see you.
Nice to meet you.
He's going to tell us a little bit about what it's like to be a DSP here at Richmond. So, Ray, tell us a little bit about yourself. Where are you from?
I'm from Albania. Hi everybody. It's a pleasure being here with you today.
Thanks for coming.
Thank you for having me.
So, how did you wind up finding out about this opportunity here at Richmond?
Actually, I was about to graduate from my college, and I got connected to one of these job sites. Not necessarily job sites, they job recruiters.
Okay.
My advisor connected me through them. I saw this as an opportunity. I learned that they hired H-1B students. Under H1, they learned students under the H-1B visa, and I felt that was a great opportunity for me after finishing my psychology degree, entering in the field.
Okay.
It's a good opportunity to get some experience and to see the market in its own.
So, for people who don't know, what is an H-1B visa?
An H-1B visa is basically a specialty workers visa. You are required to have some sort of degree to work in the respective field of your degree at some extent, but it has to be directly connected to it. And you get that through your job, and they have to sponsor you to get it. Usually is a 2 to 5 year, but but usually is the 3 year. Is between that time frame, they give you a contract and you work for them within that certain amount of time. Usually is a 3 year. I have a 3 year contract with
Okay.
RCS.
And how long have you been here at RCS so far?
It's been very little time. It's been 3 weeks already.
Okay. All right. And I guess my next question would be, did you have options when you were choosing opportunities? In other words, here at Richmond, for people that are not part of our organization and viewing this program, we serve people with intellectual and developmental disabilities. We help them to live as independently as possible. The people we work with need varying degrees of assistance. So I guess my question to you is, Ray, did they have other opportunities aside from working with folks with intellectual and developmental disabilities?
You're saying from RCS?
No, I mean, when you were looking at your H-1B visa, did you have different options in different fields?
Companies. Okay, so I have to. Since I have a degree in psychology, it will have to be somewhat directly related to psychology.
Okay.
I actually applied in a lot of places, and Richmond was the first one who replied back and said like, yeah, we would be happy to work with you, and got me through the process of it. But at the time where I joined or decided to join RCS, I had none. Other opportunities came down the road, but not before I decided to join.
Okay.
Richmond.
So, do you have prior experience working with the people that we work with, or is this your first time?
This is my first time. Like, I've had prior experience working with people that are like higher functioning ones. I recently have been working with people that are not as high as function as I have used before, but I have never really worked. I have volunteered with the Red Cross in Albania and other organizations, but this is my first time really diving deep into working with people that have this
Okay.
kind of development.
So, from a geographical perspective, I mean, I don't know off the top of my head, but describe to us where in the world Albania is, what countries it's surrounded by.
Okay, so the easiest way to describe where Albania is saying like it's right across the sea from Italy and neighboring with Greece. These are the two more known countries that neighbor Albania.
Okay. And growing up in Albania, did you grow up in a small town, a city, medium?
Actually, my life started in a very small village in Albania where when I was born, and a lot of my previous generations and ancestors were born, and after that I moved to the capital of Albania when I was about 6, 7.
What is the capital?
Tirana, it's called.
Okay.
It holds like 1/3 of the entire Albanian's population, and
Okay.
it was a big change, but I was young enough to not really notice it.
Okay. And from what age to what age did you live there?
I lived from 6 or 7 when I moved till the age of 19 before I came
Okay.
to the States.
Okay. So I mean, could you compare that to any part of the United States as far as like city size?
City size is actually really small. Like it's not bigger than the entire city is not bigger than, what can I say? The Bronx. Actually, the Bronx
Okay.
might be bigger than
Oh, okay.
than the capital city.
Now, do people in Albania consider that a big city?
Yeah, that's the biggest there is.
Okay. Okay. And then after you said up until 19, I guess, what did you do after when you turned 19?
So I came to the States.
Okay.
I applied for a student visa. I came here and started my higher education.
Okay. What school did you go to?
I went to Haston College in Kansas,
Okay.
majoring in psychology, and then 2 years after I got my associate, and then I moved to New York and started my bachelor's at Mercy College.
Okay. And how is your experience? How have you found the United States so far? What are some things that you like? What are some things that were maybe surprising to you, or because when we interview people for this program, a lot of people, as you can see, have different backgrounds, and they're all things, even people who have been born in the United States, we all have things that we like, or just, for example, I like the city. I personally don't enjoy living in the city. I prefer living in the suburbs. So what are some things that you like and possibly don't prefer about living in the United States?
So there's a lot of things. First of all, it's a culture shock. Like it's totally different in so many areas that it's not even a joke. Mm-hmm. I love that there are opportunities here. I love that there's a lot to be done in the States. But something I don't like in general is that everything is so different. Starting from the smallest things like the metric system, or what can I say, the light switches, door handles, the smallest things are different, and it goes up to like mentalities and way of thinking and etc. etc.
Yeah. And we have a lot, I mean, as you've probably noticed, we have a lot of people that work here that come from different cultural backgrounds, or might have grown up in different countries and spend up until their adult life in their respective country, and then come here. And I think there's all things that people are comfortable with. The things that they're comfortable with can vary, so that's totally understandable. So I always circle kind of back to this question. So you wound up working with people with intellectual and developmental disabilities. Is that something that you had wanted to do, or you just kind of fell into it?
Okay, so having a psychology degree means that I would have to work with people
Sure.
within this spectrum at some point in time.
Sure.
Like I never really knew what direction I will take within psychology. Like I haven't decided yet. I would like to pursue a master's in something else, but I haven't decided.
Okay.
But this is an experience at the end of the day. Like I fell into it. Like it wasn't my first choice. But it is, as I said, it's an experience. Like it's something that I would have had to do no matter what. So I'm happy I'm doing it now and here.
Yeah, and remember, with this series, and I always like to remind people, and the people that I interview, everybody who we interview here obviously works to help the people that we work with here. But not all of them have done it because it's a passion. Some people find themselves here not having expected to find themselves here a year prior. So there's no expectation as to what anyone's answer should be. So another question I always like to ask, what was your first experience in life, could be in Albania, of encountering someone or seeing someone with an intellectual or developmental disability? What's your earliest memory?
So this I can say, another reason I feel comfortable at some extent working here is just because I have somebody in my own family who has Down syndrome.
Okay.
And I grew up with them until I moved to the capital city, but I always come back to where I'm from and I always visit, and it's someone really near and dear to my heart.
Sure.
So I have at some extent I do this job with empathy as well.
Okay.
Just because like have had this experience not only once but following me throughout all my life. And we, in a sense, we grew up together. Even though my development is at a different rate than theirs, it's still, we are childhood, not only cousins but friends.
So what would your interactions with them be like? I mean, were you able to, growing up, play with them? Were you able to speak with them? What was communication like?
Okay, so they are high functioning too.
Okay.
And I have, we've played together, we've done together up to this day. We do some chores together and a lot of things. They are very, very high functioning. They are very, very understanding. No, they are not a threat to nobody. So I would say they will, even though they have some age upon their shoulders, they're like 35. I wouldn't consider them any younger than developmental.
Yeah, you had it.
Yeah, developmental wise, I wouldn't say they're younger than 12 or 13. So you can conversate with them, you can talk to them, you can ask them whatever, and they can answer you. They're able to do work around and everything. So it's not that they have as severe of a disability as some other cases that are.
Okay. And do they offer the same or similar supports to people with intellectual and developmental disabilities in Albania? Like, what is the culture like that, like there for people who have intellectual and developmental disabilities?
Over there is very bad. Like they do not offer help. Like they try to, but it's very disorganized and it's very, a lot of cracks. So these individuals can fall into, and a lot of issues with funding and facilities and a lot of issues, a lot of problems.
Do families usually wind up taking care of these folks? Are they abandoned? How does that work?
There's so many different cases of so many different, like the state doesn't really take care of them as they do here. So it's either, as you said, like it's either families who choose to keep and decide to raise them, or they just abandon them, and that's another horrible story and ideology, because there's no real facilities for them. Like they wind up in group homes which are not really made for them.
Okay, sure. And I mean, even here in the United States, I love what we do here at Richmond, but even in the United States, not everybody who has an intellectual or developmental disability gets the same opportunities that the people we serve have here. So, you know, we're very fortunate here at Richmond. What are some of the things that you do with the people we work with on a daily basis? Like, well, what location do you work at here at Richmond?
I work here at Day Program North.
Okay.
And I'm a DSP, so
Sure.
I stay with them throughout the day and help them through their needs. I do everything from daily changes to feeding, to some activities, to everything in between, up to the some physical training or other training that they need. Like I do everything from A to B. As long as they're here, I'm their direct support professional.
So thanks for inviting us up to where you work. So this is Day Program North, and Ray's just going to talk a little bit about what you're doing here. What are you doing here?
So here is documenting what happened through the day, starting from changes, food given, any abnormalities in their behavior or their regular self. We document them here. It's part of the therapy, which is actually really sophisticated, which has everything we can need to document, including their goals, feeding habits, and everything else in one place.
Okay. And what about this room more specifically? Like, what kind of activities take place here?
So this is the room which I work the most in. This is Joy and this is Corey. These are the fellas that are usually, I take care of them on a daily basis. There's a lot of activities starting from their goals, which usually indicate, for example, Corey has the moving assisting machine over there, which he's assisted walking in, and the tricycle over here as well, which also is the same, is for Corey. There's many toys, many idea. Sorry.
No, it's okay.
Many toys, we have the TV also, which we provide relaxation time or off time for them
Okay.
as well. And many other things hidden in small closets and stuff,
Okay.
which would be too much to take out one by one.
No, that's fine. Would you be able to show us any other parts of the facility?
Of course. This is when we spend most of our day in.
Okay.
We have, as I said, for Corey, a lot of his assistive or goals are within this room, but for Joey, for example, there's the sensory room, which he spends a lot of time in.
So this is a pretty large facility.
Very, very large. Another classroom over here, another classroom over here.
You'd mentioned the sensory room. Where is that?
We have it right across
Oh, okay.
from us. That's where a lot of individuals spend quite a bit of their time, just because it's part of a lot of individuals' goals.
Okay.
Everyone varies on how specific their individual goal is. For example, Joey has the goal of staying there and not moving too much. His legs have to be still,
Yes.
so he doesn't play with them a lot.
Okay.
But other people have different specific goals within the sensory room.
Okay.
This is it. Usually is like this, not well lit, but there's certain sensory items like this. Like it actually is better perceived when it's off.
Okay. So these are things that they can interact with?
They can interact with, they can play with them without hurting themselves, and also we have Alexa. Alexa, turn on and play some sensory music. Which helps them also relax within that. For individuals that are a little bit more high functioning, they can sit on a chair, rock a little bit back and forth,
Okay.
just to enjoy the atmosphere a little bit longer.
Sure.
Alexa, shut off.
Okay. Very nice. Is there a place where everybody typically eats, or do they eat in their own classrooms?
Usually people eat in their own classrooms just because they're more, how can I say this? They know that environment better, so there's no new surprises. Usually their food comes with them.
Okay.
It's packed by the nutritionist with the amount they need and the utensils they need.
Okay.
So it's easier to meet everybody's needs
Okay.
right there and then.
Okay. Yeah. So a lot of the things we do here with the people are to enhance either their independence, enhance their quality of life, make them overall generally happier. I mean, all of us like to socialize with other people, as you can see here. So, those are good things to work on. And a lot of the achievements of the people we work with happen in very small steps. Whereas as people like ourselves, we can learn or pick up a skill at a little bit faster of a pace. For a lot of the people we work with, they'll have to work on small skills for a long time before they finally are able to do that on their own. So that's really good. What are, for someone that's either thinking about being a DSP or looking to get into the field, we'll start with this question. What are some things that you like about it or find rewarding about it?
I like that we are helping people, because we really are helping people. We are making their lives a little bit easier, a little bit more enjoyable, and we are preparing them to be more individual, more independent, and we're preparing them for the future, as you said it before. I love that it is something that you can do with compassion, and and at the end of the day, you are making a difference as a person. Like they say, a person cannot really make a difference. Yes, you can, one individual at a time.
And my other question, kind of as the yang to the yin that I just gave you, if someone were to say to you, you know what, Ray, I'm thinking about becoming a DSP, and you were to tell them what's challenging about it, or something maybe that you would prefer to change about it or should be different about the position, what would you say to them?
I feel like everybody has their own idea of what's good and bad. I feel like this job comes as it is, and you cannot really take anything out or leave anything in that you would want. I would suggest to anybody who's looking to get into this field to really look it up, because it is a lot of work and it is a very demanding field.
Like in what ways?
As I said, like as I previously said, you need to feed these individuals, and it might be hard to. They might not be very cooperating at times. You need to change them, and there's various individuals having various needs, anywhere from just checking up on them to fully assisting them to change. There's individuals who have different tendencies, different behaviors, and it's not the easiest, might not be the easiest one to deal with as some others. So everybody has to be mindful of these small things with others when getting into the field, because it is a demanding field, both physically and emotionally, to get into.
And usually I wrap up with this question. I would say, if you for our final part here, you can look at the camera, and if you were to address the leaders of organizations that do the same thing we do, not necessarily RCS specifically, what would you like to see to change about the profession that would overall make it better?
I believe, at least here at RCS, we are understaffed, and there's a few reasons and a few factors that play into that. But in my opinion, I feel like the pay is not the best. I feel like if there was more incentive for people to work here, more of them would, overall making it easier to handle all the individuals and potentially have even more, or helping even more. So I would say, like, if a little bit of pay increase would occur, a lot more individuals might have an incentive to jump overboard and overall make it easier for companies and individuals and everybody along the way, in assisting them at least.
Okay. So everybody, I enjoyed my conversation with Ray. Ray, thank you for coming. I hope you leave this episode, learning about another perspective of someone who found themselves in this profession. B, a little bit about someone's cultural background. One thing I'm very proud of here at RCS is the fact that we have people from a large variety of cultural backgrounds, from different countries, different places within the United States, and we're all here for a reason. At the end of the day, one commonality I notice is that people do get a sense of satisfaction from doing that job, but it doesn't mean that it's easy, and it doesn't mean that in a perfect world things couldn't be changed to make it better for the people that work at organizations like ours and better for the people we serve. Ray, thank you very much for coming here. I appreciate you sharing a little bit about your life, a little bit about your work experience. I hope you left or you're going to leave this episode being a little bit more informed about the different cultural backgrounds people come from, the different reasons they find themselves working to assist people with intellectual or developmental disabilities. One commonality that I notice is that all of the people that work here truly get a sense of satisfaction assisting the people we work with. That doesn't mean that it's an easy job. That doesn't mean that in a perfect world there couldn't be things that are made better for the people that work here and the people we serve. But everybody has a unique perspective. Ray, thanks for coming.
Thank you for having me.
Thanks for sharing, and we'll see you in the next episode.